Hello and welcome everyone into this fourth part of variables. This time we are not talking about variables, rather we are talking about constants. Okay. Now in this part we are going to understand something very important. Okay, what are constants and where do we use them? Okay, this is again part of variables, but a little more precisely saying these are about constants. Okay, so we're going to see mostly two parts in this video, which are going to see plus constants and important points to know. Okay, as obvious, which is there. Okay, now what are constants? Okay, what exactly is constant is something that we're going to know by definition first. Okay, when you do not want others or yourself to override existing variables or values using the constant keyword, when you use the constant keyword, this will declare the variable as constant, which means unchangeable and read only. Okay, it is very similar to the format where you are not allowed to change anything. It is, whenever you're going to give your exam and if you're not allowed to change the question, it's similar to that. Okay, you are not allowed to change a variable and you are not allowing others to change the variable as well. So that's when you declare a constant. Okay, and it's pretty easy to declare. That's what we are going to see in the example. So how do you go about it? You go about const int my num is equal to 15. Now const is a keyword which is added before integer so that you can tell that this is going to be a constant variable. Okay, it's no longer a variable, it's going to be a constant. Okay, so const int my num equals to 15. Now what happens is, if you try to override this thing by declaring my num is equal to 10, it will generate an error. Okay, this error will be generated because you would have the error that assigned of read only. Okay, this is an only read only system where you can just read the values, you cannot override it. Okay, that's the power of constant, and you use it at a lot of places. Let us suppose you have a password that you don't want to change at any point of time. That's when you use a const. Okay, so any authentication keys which is there, any sort of like important file which is there where you want to not change that at any cost, and you don't want the user to change that at any cost, you would declare it as a const. I hope that was clear. And whenever you declare it, you can use this variable name and just declare it. It's as simple as that. Now what happens is, you should be knowing some of the important points. So you should always declare the variables as const when you have values that are unlikely to change. Okay, let us suppose you have gravity. Okay, gravity is something that is not going to change at all. Okay, it's going to be 9.6 or sorry 9.8. Okay, 9.8 kilonewton, or some people say it at 10, but it's going to be always 9.8. And in case you have minutes per hour, okay, like you don't change minutes per hour at any point, it's always 60. You have float pi, the value of pi is 3.14 and so on, but you have a very fixed value and it's very unlikely that you would change those values. Okay, that's when you use const, so that by accident the software is not overriding these values and changing the entire framework. And that's pretty much the most important thing about const that that you should be knowing. I hope you had a great time learning, and in the next video we're going to talk about inputs and how they are done. Till then, happy learning everyone, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.